Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for giving me a voice. I will be talking today about uh, Irish Irish microalgae that becomes very good, very promising to regional demand hydrogen source. This presentation would be delivered based on article written by Piet Lens with Braga from Ireland University in Galway in Ireland. The work was published in recent issue of Biomass and Bioenergy and is titled Natural fermentation as a nicotinic strategy for dark fermentation of uva hydrolysate. Uva hydrolysate is the growing on the seaside alga, which is common in seashore of Ireland and sometimes is to be big to growing. They can be utilized source showing check if source of could be good. The similar work shows that this alga was good with Clostridium and gives us optimal solution due to the fact that besides being a lignolysis source, a lignin and a cellulose source and half feeder is the cultivation and uses reduce greenhouse effect by catching carbon dioxide and sorbing. Therefore, we decided to share to check how hydrogen can be. In previous study, it decided to check in both psychophilic and thermophilic temperature was 30 and 55 degrees. So useful in colder area where is not so high temperature that can be mesophilic and so mountainous, for example. And therefore, we need to show how this hydrolyzate works. The macroalgae of Ulviva lacinata growing from May to September, very high, and were hydrolyzed after harvesting and removing out impurities and sieving to after mixing by 12 to 25 milliliters, and then will be pre-treated using hydrochloric 35% and processed at 100 Celsius degree. They check the macros, but they don't say that inside was some bacteria which in algae which were natural fermentation. They don't add anything, and this 100 Celsius is also heat shock for these bacteria that are inside this algae, because these algae were growing in the season. So this will be this bacteria would give by blocking the metagenesis will be producing hydrogen from the diluted and hydrolyzed algae. And then four, we should to find, then use triplicate as should be to measure how good regression error. And There is no regression error in the world, but I think that would be 1%, something like that. This is not very common to use this common regression error right now. In drug fermentation, they in many art journals accept if that triple and no special error in, in compared to medical very calm statistics. And therefore we should experiment the setup was in the 12 spheres glass reactors 330 to 555 degrees to times respectively, and they were heating in place in two water bath and recirculated water jackets. Therefore, we should produce the gas volume, and the volume of water was measuring was by as packing liquid was using 2% hydrochloric acid. So this is we I use oil with uh, and cleaning agent of Ludwig. They use hydrochloric acid research to catch and avoid carbon, hydrogen dissolving in water, and to flow and go to the sample of bag to catch and measure the gas produced. Uh, Sulfide was analyzed, also nitrogen also checked, and net energy, how energy is used. As a result, we get that in case of 55 degrees was three times higher hydrogen production per gram of Sudan in psychrophilics, so 30 degrees. This is common, but shows that can also be useful from 1 milliliters from one in case of psychophilic to 4 grams per 4 milliliters, 3.5 milliliters per gram of algas. The sulfide production was also observed here, similar to my research that silver standard is sulfide produced. Therefore, it should be started to use. The protein is also produced, which is a source of sulfate, and thus it works. Conditions are neglectable and useful. And this shows how it checked. The pH was 6.5 and 5.6 in case 30 and 6.5, so not very high. Usually is 5. In the case of 30 was higher. So this shows that the organism, the use, how it's checked. And as used usually, psychophilia is much slower than in case of thermophile and shows that can be used this material. It's important to to find material which is convenient for hydrogen in regional, because in regional have different flora and fauna and can different source of or potential source of hydrogen. then and plant designed process should be designed enably to the region that will be produced this raw to utilize waste care produce and fulfill demands analytical and chemical and uh, all sources for daily life. Thank you very much for listening to me.